Nathan Eovaldi, a guy that we've watched for a long, long time. You had up close exposure with the Boston Red Sox. Really an amazing story with Nate Eovaldi. I mean, when he came up, I remember him when he was first acquired by the Florida Marlins at that time, the Miami Marlins. The velocity was kind of the calling card. He was not a guy that you'd expect to be pitching at this level this far down the line as his velocity ticked down. I mean, he was kind of a wild horse at that time. So what has allowed him to not only maintain his effectiveness, but really increase his effectiveness as his career has gone on?
I think pitching is a really interesting thing. First of all, an 11th round pick by the Dodgers in 2008 out of Alvin, Texas. Right. So here's a high school draft in the 11th round, who probably could have gone to a pretty good school, had good stuff, but gets selected out of high school, and the Dodgers entice them with enough early on. We've talked at length about the Dodgers and their, and their ability to draft well. This goes back down to now to 2008. But in that era, I can't remember the context of when they moved him or why they moved him. The initial deal where he gets dealt in is, we were talking about it earlier before the show, Danny. Who's in that trade? All the way at the bottom.
So the trade from the Marlins and the Yankees, you're talking about Phelps coming to the Marlins,
right?
Martin Prado, who was a solid veteran for the Marlins. Domingo German, who ended up pitching a perfect game, goes out to the Yankees. Obviously, he had off the field stuff.
Right.
Phelps ultimately becomes Pablo Lopez for the Marlins. Pablo Lopez eventually becomes Pablo Arias. That's really two of the Marlins playoff runs, with Pablo playing a big role in 2020, Arias in 2023. Now Arias has since been traded. The centerpiece of that deal, Dylan Head, playing good at the A level. But it's an interesting trade. On the Yankee side, they really got nothing out of it other than the perfect game from German. But German or Herman gone after that due to the off the field stuff, and then Eovaldi never really got it going. So,
but even in the original move is he was part of the Hanley Ramirez deal that sent Hanley to the Dodgers.
Oh, wow.
So original from the Dodgers to the Marlins in the Hanley Ramirez deal. Randy Choate was also in that deal, I think. And then that trade that you're talking about to the Yankees then goes on to happen. But then he goes through, released by the New York Yankees, signed as a free agent with the Rays, traded by the Rays to the Red Sox, then signs as a free agent with the Red Sox, and goes on to, after he does his thing there and wins with them in 2018, reestablishes himself. Really interesting track to then sign some pretty major free agency deals later on in his career. I absolutely love stuff like this. I think he's enjoying that second wind in your career as a starting pitcher that you hope you would have for a good team. So he's 35 now, but look where he's at in the pitching run value stuff. As soon as let me add it to the stage here. He's in the 100th percentile in pitching run value, 99th percentile in fastball run value, 95th percentile in breaking ball value, and 86th percentile in off speed, all while holding a walk rate in the 96th percentile. So he's just without the same fastball that he had, average fastball of 95, 94 and a half. But look at the breaking ball and the off speed, like all the weapons are working. Fastball's working. Split is really working. The curveball is working. The cutter is at 20%. So it's a really even pitch distribution. He's fun to watch right now, and he's proven that you can take that path of a later round pick, proving that we don't have the scouting thing figured out completely, at least. And now he's impacting at 35 years old, impacting the major leagues at the 1% and 100th percentile level. So, and look at the web of trades that have happened after those initial moves. I always find that fascinating. Like, what happens once a player, like, did you know that Nate Eovaldi is connected to Dylan Head in this way that circles all the way back to contemporary time, even though that trade happened 2009, 2010.
Yep.
Really cool to have a pitcher be able to find money, production, and elite level production at 35, 36, 37, 38. There's been this wave. Verlander, Scherzer, now Eovaldi, these guys that age, Charlie Morton, they age really well into their late 30s and early 40s, and you can still make money there and still provide significant value. So the Orioles, like we just talked about, They could be in. They could have been in for Nate Eovaldi. That would have been playing out for them well right now. They didn't. Texas did, and Texas is benefiting from that right now.
A guy you also want in the postseason too, right? Given that he has that experience,
Oh yeah,
right? And he has some dominant traits. It's amazing looking at his, baseball savant. You can go back a decade and kind of go through the years and see how it changes. Going back to 2015, you're talking about his off speed was always there with 896 off speed run value, but the fastball, the breaking ball, nowhere near as effective. And the fastball velo at that time, 97, 98. So
Yep.
you've seen that decline and everything else tick up. It's again, you look at the what you see in 2015, 2016, and what you see now.
Yep.
It's like two different pitchers on the numbers.
It shows you that velocity doesn't drive all production. There's a pitchability component. So if you look at these percentages, and Baseball Savant has a really cool, you let this little icon play right there, and it'll give you the progression of year over year value and production. And what's shown up later in his career is the breaking ball, right? Like the off speed and the breaking ball, and that splitter gets to show up in a much more prominent way than when he was just a fastball dominant pitcher, because he had the elite level velocity. There's like a pressure to pitch with your fastball when you have that velocity, but not all guys' fastballs play at an elite level to be able to rely on 60, 70% fastball. So what you're seeing here now with him is true pitchability. It's 29% forcing fastball usage, 29% splitter usage, 21% curve, 20% cutter. So true usage, even distribution almost across the entire arsenal. And I think that's why he's finding the success that he's finding.